Welcome. Welcome to the Spirits. My name is Reina-Shay Broussard, and it is my hope to help guide you into your spirit spot, even if just for a few moments out of your day. I invite you to set aside whatever you have in front of you, settle into your seat if you're able, and we'll begin with 3 conscious breaths. Breathe in through your nose, slowly, evenly, deeply, filling your belly, and breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Our touchstone for today is home. I've had, or rather created, many opportunities for travel in my life. I lived in Singapore, France, and the Philippines, visited many other countries, and traveled as well throughout my home country of the U.S. Early in my travels, I often yearned for home. But over the years, I've realized that that yearning was not for a physical place that I call home. For home is a sacred space, a place where I feel safe, protected, and loved. I believe this space is in my heart, and when I move my attention there, I am instantly at home. Our reading today consists of 5 poems on the theme of home. First, by Emily Dickinson. The props assist the house until the house is built, and then the props withdraw, and adequate, erect, the house supports itself, and cease to recollect the augur and the carpenter. Just such a retrospect hath the perfected life, a past of plank and nail and slowness, then the scaffolds drop, affirming it a soul. By Hadowich II. You who want knowledge, see the oneness within. There you will find the clear mirror already waiting. By Laldead. I was passionate, filled with longing. I searched far and wide. But the day that the truthful one found me, I was at home. By Rabia. O my Lord, the stars glitter, and the eyes of men are closed. Kings have locked their doors, and each lover is alone with his love. Here, I am alone with you. By Yu Xuanji. I've come to the house of the immortals. In every corner, wildflowers bloom. In the front garden, trees offer their branches for drying clothes. Where I eat, a wine glass can float in the spring water's chill. From the portico, a hidden path leads to the bamboo's darkened groves. Cool in a summer dress, I choose from among heaped piles of books, reciting poems in the moonlight, riding a painted boat. Every place the wind carries me is home. Again, our touchstone for today is home. I invite you to pause throughout your day for 3 conscious breaths and to take a short journey into your home in your heart. And may you create a great day.
Next, we have Texas-based singer-songwriter and Americana artist Elizabeth Wills. She has a voice that Dallas Morning News compared to female singer-songwriter greats such as Carly Simon, Shawn Colvin, and Sarah McLachlan. Her songs, real and riveting, keep listeners engaged start to finish. Influenced by writer-artists Joni Mitchell, Carole King, and their contemporaries, Wills bases songs in honesty, goodness, and vulnerability.
He stepped out into the ocean. The storm chased him all the way home. A piece of centrifugal motion. And he found himself stranded alone. He didn't know how deep the waters don't show the secrets they keep under the waves, under the foam. But then from the dark there came a hand not like his, but they were the same. They were bringing him safe from the unknown. He said, "Tell me your name. You don't look like me, but I think we're the same." And the stranger just smiled and said, "Don't you know we're all here and we're walking each other home?" She ended her shift at a diner and headed out to find a way home. The voices were always behind her, even though she was walking alone. Nobody knows how deep the sorrows don't show, the secrets they keep under her skin, under her smile. But then from the dark there came a hand not like hers, but they were the same. They were bringing her safe from the unknown. She said, "Tell me your name. You don't look like me, but I think we're the same." And the stranger just smiled and said, "Don't you know we're all here and we're walking each other home?" The rains will come and the rivers may rise. The darkness moans in the middle of the night. There is a light, then our love is alive. Little boy sits at his window. He's waiting for morning to come. His mama went out 3 days ago, and he finds himself stranded alone. He shouldn't know how deep the hunger and shame and the secrets they keep under the guns, under his feet. But then from the dark there came a hand not like his, but they were
Oh, isn't that a gorgeous song by Elizabeth Wills? I'm very excited about this next piece. Friend of mine shared with us. And Ruthie from Mxtic Readings brings us a special card and charm reading in which they ask Spirit to reveal through literature-oriented decks and symbols how we can all progress forward and upward as unified people. Here we go.
I'm Ruthie from Mxtic Readings on YouTube. What I'm doing here today is bringing my psychic intuitive abilities with tarot, oracle, charms, intuition, etc., etc. I am here shuffling cards for you in accordance with the mission of this of Convergence, which from what I understand is about empowering everyone to move forward, upward, to be together and help each other so that we all get better. And that's obviously a paraphrase, but that's what my readings are about as well. It's about, the question is always, how can we achieve our highest good and the highest good of all others? And so I'm really excited. The Mxtic. The Starborn came out first. We're not asking about me. We're asking about all of us. Maybe that is you. Maybe right now someone's finding out that there's different types of cards that they can use to access intuitive messages that will help prosper our missions, to help everyone and ourselves, to recognize worthiness, unity, peace. That's what we're all here for right now. So right now, I'm in the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. It's really cool. There's a bunch of cards in it. I'm just shuffling up, catching a vibe, the animal. And what I'm hoping is that one perfect card will come out to jump us through. In literature and reading, archetypes are these long-standing symbols with lots of deep meanings that are intentionally woven into literature in order to build depth into what's being communicated without having to say it directly. That's what archetypes are for. And there's in this Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, let me turn this down. There's a lot of symbols that we find both in literature and in ourselves. It's very relatable. So one thing I did want to talk about before jumping all the way into this reading is that we learn how to read before we learn how to read ourselves. And we use the literature, the archetypes, the deep emotional and mental work done by the people before us to access our own inner truths. So today I hope that everyone who's watching this will find access to some of their deepest internal truth in keeping with the mission of this beautiful gathering. Spirit, I thank you so much for waking up today. God, universe, your many beautiful names, I thank you so much for this one life to live that I know of, and for giving me tools to access the truth for forward movement and upward progress. I ask that you help deliver an archetypal message that will guide the rest of this reading and help us to pull messages through from you in all the many names and attributes. The mountains. On the bottom is the judge. Number 33, it's almost my 33rd birthday, and that is my favorite number. So, I'm digging it. The mountains, the ascent, the peak, the insurmountable. The mountain stands eternally in our awareness, calling us toward its peak. It stirs up static and regal feelings, reminding us of the long line of spirits, sages, sadhus, and the gods that made their humble thrones within its snowy peaks. Beware, though, as the mountain can affect us in two ways. It can inspire and enliven us to rise to new heights and peak experience. Yet it can also create isolation, competitiveness, and an inflated sense of itself. Standing upon its heights can activate the purist and the perfectionist in us, creating separation from those we deem to be below. No matter how high you ascend, remember that it is within the core of the mountain, that the gems, minerals, and jewels reside. If you think it's all about going up, you're following the fool's path and missing the miner's magic. Grounded in the eternal, steadfast, uplifting. Contemplate Joseph Campbell's suggestion. You are the central mountain, and the central mountain is everywhere. It's beautiful. Wow. Okay, let's move into a favorite deck of mine. The Literary Witches Oracle. It's all femmes from literature. I'm going to move this rock over here. All femmes from literature. This great book with little bios, and it reveals the deep themes that come. And there's also more symbols in this. And after I pull from this deck, I'll finish the message with a few charms. Okay. I keep getting these cards. This must be like really in the air right now. This is Alejandra Pizarnik, Solitude. Silence, interiority, space. Born to Russian Jewish parents in Argentina, Alejandra Pizarnik, 1936 to 1972, was educated in both Yiddish and Spanish, but wrote in Spanish. Her poetry of imaginistic purity and surrealist influence summons themes of silence, absence, madness, and death again and again. Her own struggle with depression led to an intentional overdose of Seconal at the age of 36. Oh. Already idolized by Spanish-speaking writers, her genius deserves a global readership. Wow, deep in the mountain of solitude. Then the I card came out. I, seeking answers, seeing clearly, paying attention. Wow. Then Volcano. Patience, repression, lust. And finally, Yumiko Kurahashi. Transformation, masks, becoming, play. Yumiko Kurahashi, 1935 to 2005, a badass of experimental fiction from Kochi Prefecture, is almost entirely unknown among English speakers. Influenced by Kafka and French literature, Kurahashi's bizarre stories feature ghosts, flying heads, witch masks, incest, and bestiality. Her work will completely freak you out and provoke you with its fairy tale logic and philosophical underbelly. Wow. One of the biggest steps we can take is recognizing that we are all a part, influential and necessary, of a grand and beautiful happening that literally could not be without us, because we are part of it. I'm such a klutz. It's one of my most endearing traits. I got several tree of lives, a circle, an infinity symbol. Come on. Let's see. I choose strength. I am loved, made with love. Love always. I will. All of these messages point to me, to that deep wisdom. There's a little owl. That deep wisdom that comes from our transformation. We grow. We depend on things for our peace. Things to keep us steady. Our forward movement in the chariot. With love coming from our hearts and our pockets. And our vote. The final messages here. Actually, I'm going to pull a clarifier. Okay. This is a sign. Look, I set this feather here. You're watching me. A wing and feathers. I want to show you something. This deck. In this deck is a card that looks like this. I'm not going to dig for the card because it's on the cover. In this message, the feather, the osprey feather, wishes do come true. This came out too. Align with your spiritual inward self. Look to the moon and nature. Look to the tides. Open your crown chakra and appreciate these work and these words that were given to us to be able to articulate exactly how we feel as we lose our feathers and transform into something new. Let us all transform together. Let us all continue becoming. Let us all move up together for everyone's highest good, and let the Spirit, as long as it exists, help us do it. Be blessed. To the Lighthouse, Virginia Woolf. Have you ever read it?
I knew that that Ruthie was going to bring us something unique and different, and I think she definitely delivered on that. Next, we are going to have a conversation with Johnnie Bernhard. Her debut novel, A Good Girl, was featured. Well, it was a featured novel for a panel discussion at the Mississippi and Louisiana book festivals, and a finalist for literary fiction in the 2017 Kindle Book Awards. A nominee for the PEN Prize, A Good Girl was also shortlisted for Fiction of the Year by the Mississippi Institute of Arts and Letters. Her third novel, which we'll be discussing today, Sisters of the Undertow, was chosen for panel discussion at the AWP 2020 conference and the Southern Book Festival, Humanities, Tennessee. It was named by the American University Press Association as one of 100 best books published by a university press. Welcome, Johnnie. Are you
Thank
there?
you to be here. Yes, let's see.
Oh, great. Well, I know we were talking a little bit about your novel, and I asked you specifically if you could share with us how your novel connects with the themes of unity and peace of our convergence here.
That's a great question. How's the sound for everyone?
I'm hearing you really well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for having me, and thank you, readers, and I see many authors in the audience, and God bless you. I love you for being here with me. So how does my work as an author connect with your beautiful theme of finding home? Well, I don't have a tarot card, but I have a novel, and that's my gift I offer to the reader, hoping that they will make the connection that every time I write, whether I'm writing about racism that stems from East Texas, if I'm writing about a refugee that lands on the shore of a Greek isle carrying their drowned child in their arm, or if I'm writing about a dog in an animal shelter. All of these entities, all of these characters are searching for home. And what is home? That's the place where we feel acceptance. That is the place where we are able to love and love in return. And so this is the theme of Sisters of the Undertow. And it's very ironic today that we're talking about it. Sisters of the Undertow, which features several hurricanes, because I've spent most of the morning helping my husband prepare for Hurricane Sally. I live several yards right from the Mississippi coast, and it's predicted that this hurricane will make landfall between New Orleans and Morgan City. I'm about an hour and a half drive from New Orleans. So we're gonna get some rain, lots of rain, and a significant amount of wind. So again, how ironic, 2020 continues to be stranger than fiction.
Yes, and I know you said to me recently, you said a hurricane is a great equalizer. Can you say more about what that means to you?
I think any natural disaster, and again, the irony of this conversation today, when we look at the horrific fires on the West Coast, when we look at several hurricanes within the Atlantic and one in the Gulf, we cannot predict a natural disaster and its full impact. It doesn't matter if we're rich, if we're poor, the color of our skin, if we're educated or uneducated, that storm, that fire is coming. And I think it's the great equalizer in life. Of course, if you're a poor person, being able to lead those natural disasters is is a difficult situation. You might not have gas to put in your car. You might not be able to pay for a hotel room. So it's really very much like the refugee story I talked about earlier, the refugee from Syria and the refugees from the Middle East and Northern Africa trying to find their way into Europe through Greece, in that all of these people are searching for a safe haven. And again, that expands upon your theme of home, a safe haven. Come in from the shelter, come in for shelter, come in from the store. So although this novel, on the surface, above the surface, it's about two sisters and sibling rivalry, an age-old problem, a universal problem, meaning someone in Budapest is going to understand sibling rivalry like someone in Houston, Texas. It's been around for a long time. But beneath the undertow, beneath the water, and the undertow is a very powerful pull from the surface of the water beneath it. And though how often we may try to fight those undertows in life, we may give up or we may fight it until we make our way back to the surface. So for one of these sisters in the novel, she is skimming the surface. On that surface, she is brilliant, very attractive. By all measures, especially by cultural measures, she seems very successful. But beneath that undertow, she's swimming against things, past hurts, past regrets that keep her from feeling buoyant in life, from being free.
Wow. Yeah, thank you for helping us to connect that to our theme of home. And for so many people, home is also where we find peace within ourselves. And I like how you brought up sounds like the sibling rivalry is a big theme in this. And for many of us, isn't that where we first learn how to create peace, hopefully, in those rivalries and conflicts with our siblings?
Well, absolutely. In the home that we share with our siblings, our parents, those very formative years, that's where we learn to love and trust. That's our basis of what to expect from a relationship. And if somewhere in those formative years, our trust is not established, our ability to love others openly, which includes love of ourselves, that pain may carry us throughout our adulthood. And that's something that happens to the protagonist, Kim. Despite the fact that she has the gift of being intelligent and attractive and being employed, Kim suffers a great deal because she's jealous of her disabled sister who took a lot of her parents' attention as she was growing up. And she feels guilt for that jealousy. So it's a yin yang for Kim. She loves her sister, yet she's jealous. She feels guilty. All those things we feel as human beings whenever we connect to another person.
Oh, yes. I know that another big theme in your novel is the idea of being lucky versus unlucky. And I'd like you to talk about that a little bit, and specifically, how do the characters in this novel create their own luck?
Well, luck is a matter of choices made. Clearly, the youngest sister, who was born at 29 weeks, is unlucky. She never asked for this. She never asked to wear hearing aids, to suffer in school when other kids make fun of her because when she reads, her mouth moves. It's very difficult for her to read on level. Yet, because of her faith, her home, her spiritual connection to God, She accepts this. And with that acceptance, she goes on to live a wonderful life. She's happy. She works as a CNA in a nursing home. She gives love and receives a great deal of love. However, her sister, who has all the gifts of beauty and intelligence, does not have the gift of grace. She does not have peace. And she spends most of her adulthood looking for it. It could be in a man, it could be in a job. She's a librarian, so the safest place for her hurt is to find home in a book. She's very afraid to connect to other people. She doesn't want to be disappointed again.
Wow. I think you were going to share a reading with us from Sisters of the Undertow. Is this a good time to have you do that?
It is. Thank you for asking. This very small passage, and very appropriate today as we're looking at Hurricane Sally in the Gulf, it's when the two little girls were together at home as little girls. The oldest sister doesn't know the severity of her sister's learning disability. And the little sister has no idea either. It's really not until they leave the safety of home and a loving family and go on to the public school with its social pressures and other people weighing in on their lives do they realize the differences. So I'm going to read briefly of the two sisters together as young girls. We had one last summer together before we began living in separate worlds. It was the summer of 1980 when Hurricane Allen pounded the Texas Gulf Coast. It was the last time I remember loving my sister without guilt. We were in our shared bedroom the night the hurricane landed, listening in bed, holding each other tightly. We heard the bent limbs of the pecan tree scraping against the side of the house. As the winds increased, objects we couldn't see, but only hear, pelted our bedroom window. Dad came into the room with a flashlight and told us to get our jackets and sneakers on. It's almost time for the eye of the hurricane to pass over. Come on, girls. We put on shoes and bright yellow raincoats over our nightgowns, then followed Dad out to the driveway. Funny thing about a hurricane, he says, you don't know where the wind comes from. Could be Cuba, Florida, even Africa. Hurricanes are like a big vacuum cleaner, sucking up wind from wherever they've been. Dad explained, holding each of our hands as the three of us stood together, looking into the sky. Mom stood underneath the front porch light, watching us. The most brilliant calm passed over our neighborhood. The low clouds parted, and we counted the 7 sisters, the Pleiades above us. Those sisters of the brightest light were perfectly aligned during that hurricane. I never felt as loved or alive as I did then, though I didn't comprehend the perfection and completeness of nature at that age. I knew without a doubt I was part of something magical, as large as this universe, as connected as this earth. Everyone was my family on this earth. And I thought of all creation with its people fitting together like measuring cups in a set, one inside the other for a complete whole.
Wow, that's very powerful.
So there is.
I'm speechless for a moment. Sorry.
Well, we should think about it. And thank you for giving me this time to share it with you. That is the unity we are missing today.
Yes.
And that's why we are very sad as a people, not just the United States, but globally. There's so many people without a home, so many people unloved, so many people unaccepted.
And we're
We
all looking
often,
for that connection.
we are. And just like we mentioned about the protagonists, luck is about choices made. We're neither lucky or unlucky in this. We have a choice to make. It begins with me, and it begins with you, and being kinder and loving and more accepting of ourselves as well as others. This is why I write. It's the exact reason why I write. I am never going to tell you, reader, what I think you should think. All I want you to do is think and feel. And that's my gift for writing the story. So that's why I always have these characters, including dogs, wanting to be adopted, people wanting to be adopted and made a part of the human family. You know, God created us to love and to be loved. And this is what our protagonist is searching for in the story.
Beautiful.
So there's always this tension between the big sister who rejects her faith and the little sister that accepts it willingly. It was never a doubt in her mind. Now, reader, I'm not telling you or judging wherever you are in your faith journey. And absolutely, Chris, it is the hero's journey to find his or her peace, his or her home.
You there? Uh-oh. Did you disappear, Johnny?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I saw that David was coming up, so I thought he wanted to speak aloud, but he wrote a message instead. So if I may, since we're on the subject of finding your peace, find your home, which is what all people want, to be accepted. And self-discovery is a very important part of that. That's what the protagonist has to do. She literally has to be brought to her knees in a hurricane where she loses everything before she realizes what she has. A sister that loves her, not just loves her, but loves her unconditionally, the most perfect love there is. It's why I write about pets in books. Most perfect example of unconditional love is from a dog or a pet. We humans have a much more difficult time accepting others unconditionally. It's hard work.
Yes.
So we were talking about faith, and I'll read this small piece, and it really defines the faith issue between these two sisters. And Kim begins, did you ever think, sister, that this is all there is? What are you saying? That what is before you and me right now is all we get as humans. There's no hell, no heaven, this is it. I don't have to think about it. I know there's a heaven and hell. Heaven and hell are right here on this earth. We're living it. Kim, how can you believe that? You only have to love someone with all your heart to know there is something greater than us that can't be explained, that can't be seen with our eyes. That's a convenient explanation, but why would I torture myself listening to the philosophy of someone working on sainthood? Here's the little sister. This life, it's all we get. There's nothing more. No guardian angels watching over our sleep. No virginal mother whispering to Jesus to answer our prayers. No merciful, forgiving Father. There is, Kim. I pray every day you come to know this. Save your prayers for yourself. Kim, tell me, what have I done to cause you to feel this way about me? Why are you filled with such hate? Okay, it's simple. I'll tell you. You changed all of us. Your birth, your poor health and learning disabilities. You made everyone anxious and happy. You've made me feel guilty my entire life. You took mom away from me and even dad. Maybe I'm jealous. You had their attention and apparently God's too. It was out, never to be taken back again as it echoed off our hearts and into the cab of that truck. I was crying. I wouldn't let her know that. I also stopped myself from revealing our mother's dark secret, biting my lip into the words tubal ligation and sterilization were evaporated into the night air. Kim, I didn't ask for this body or this mind that doesn't work like yours. What do you think it was like all these years being your sister? You're beautiful, intelligent, and there I was still confused by my multiplication facts in high school. But I accepted it. It was neither lucky or unlucky. It is how God made me. How can you believe God does this to babies? God gave me loving parents, a good home. I'm not bitter. I have peace. That's something you don't know about, Kim. There's no peace in your life. You don't like yourself. You don't like people. What kind of life have you made?
Oh, wow. That's just beautiful. Now I want to get your book for sure. And Karen already told us, sorry, not sorry. She was multitasking and she's already ordered the book. So thank you for sharing with us today, Johnnie. And thank you everyone for attending.
May I offer this, and pardon me for interruption. Audience, it's never going to be cheaper if you want the book. $1.99 Kindle, $1.99. And that's not, I'm not going to see any money, neither is my publisher. That is the publisher's gift. And hopefully you'll be moved by this story. And if you are, that's my gift.
Well, and Karen said she got the Kindle already, and she's going to be looking for a print copy from an indie bookstore. So please support
Yeah.
independent bookstores if you can, something local in your area perhaps. And again, thank you for everyone. I'm afraid we're out of time today, but